Yeah, welcome on pod, Nike Adekunle. Happy to see you in today's topic, where we're going to delve into how you can manage your spouse during marital crisis in today's world. Yeah, welcome aboard.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we'll be waiting to see how you're going to nurture the Gen Zs, and how they can manage their relationship, and
Yeah.
to see the relationship is something that is very sweet and is possible to have a sweet and a smooth relationship.
Okay. So, you want me to go ahead, right?
And yeah, I have a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
Yes, because going into your profile, got to know that you are a renowned relationship expert and a mother and a wife. And yeah, so there's this question I want to ask you. What inspired you to become an expert in marital crisis?
No. Okay. I think my passion was activated as a result of my own experience.
Yeah,
I come from a family, my family of origin. My parents were separated, even though they never got a divorce, but they separated. And so from that tender age, I've always asked myself, because in those days it was not very popular to have parents that are not staying together. Unlike these days where it is now very popular. So then it used to bother me that why are we the odd one out? That's one. Then
yeah,
secondly, in my small head, then I used to think about it that why would two people that like each other all of a sudden not like each other again?
mm,
So for me it was a thing, and it sparked an interest. Those that year when you have your newspaper, there's always one anti something's corner that will be
yeah,
giving advice on relationship. I don't think we don't have print media as we used to have like back then. So once I get hold of any newspaper, I'm always going to that advice column to see what anti whoever is that is talking about relationships and all of that. So that was how my own interest was sparked to begin this journey.
wow, lovely. That is good. That is good. Yeah. So, well, yeah, my first question would be, how can a couple communicate effectively during a crisis? Like, when we couple have a crisis, this one is on the loggerhead, they don't really want to listen to each other. How do you think they can navigate to, establish a smooth conversation?
Okay, I think that even before we become a couple, let's backtrack a bit and talk about different things that make us attractive to each other. Usually, when you have somebody that, if you are marrying for love
Yeah.
and you are marrying for true love, because there are some people now that they draw a list of what they want. What they want is not a spouse, what they want is a sponsor. So if you are that person that is marrying for love,
Mm.
and you genuinely want to marry for love, you don't have the list of somebody that is living in Banana Island, and you don't have the list of what their bank account should look like, all those things, but genuinely you want somebody that will fall in love with you, the likelihood is that you are going to
Mm.
attract somebody that is opposite, because opposites always attract. As at that time, it is beautiful, because
Mm.
I like to talk a lot, and now I am attracted to somebody that likes to listen to. The person doesn't like to talk a lot, so yeah, it feels like I found myself a good deal. If I
Yeah, go
like
ahead.
to, if I like to, let's say for instance, if I like to be confrontational about things, I see somebody that does not confront things. At that time, it's very romantic when you find out that you in love with somebody that is opposite, until after we get married. By the time we get married, all of a sudden, that thing, opposites that used to attract, will now begin to attack. And that is because marriage is by design made to help you grow and help you see your own inadequacies. A
Yeah.
lot of us talk about our temperaments, our personality traits, and we used to. There's a particular book, and that book was actually written by a Christian, and the book talks about our different personality. That's where we got the phlegmatic, the melancholic, the sanguine, and the choleric from. But what we fail to realize is that that book, the conclusion of that book is for you not just to be able to see yourself in any of those quadrants. The conclusion of that book is for you to be able to, if you read the end of the book, it talks about spirit controlled temperament, which means every temperament has good parts and bad parts. We have
Mm.
strengths and weaknesses. And if we continue to, if you are in a relationship with somebody that is
Yeah.
quite opposite from you, what it does is that it triggers your weaknesses. A lot of people used to say that if you survive marriage, you will make heaven, and you don't change, and you are still
Let's
temperate, then you will make heaven, because marriage will try you to the last, because now you are living constantly with somebody that exposes your weakness, and your strength can be jamming sometimes. And so, if we don't understand what marriage truly is about, there is a tendency that we are going to overexert ourselves. We are going to, instead of understanding what the relationship is about and growing to become who God wants us to be. Like in that book, the book advises us to grow, to get into spirit controlled temperaments, which means that for me, if I am choleric, I have a growth need. There is something that I should be aspiring to become so that I can become a balanced person. For the
yeah.
phlegmatic, there is something good about you, there is something bad about you. And if you are working with the Holy Spirit, you should be working in such a way that you will become a more rounded person and a more balanced person. So, the person that does not talk a lot, you will need to talk a bit more. The person that talks too much will learn how to start talking less. All of us,
Yeah.
there is something wrong with us, that if you if you really really choose to grow, there is something that you should be minding about your business that should make you into a better person. And so usually, so to answer your question directly now, because I said I want to backtrack a bit, to answer your question
Yeah.
directly, it means that when we are in conflict, if you are wise, you'll be asking yourself, what part of my life is being challenged? Am I being challenged to grow? Is it my weakness that is under scrutiny? What is it that I can learn from this situation? Because in my own world, this looks normal. In her own world, this does not look normal. So, how do we get to a compromise between the two of us so that we can actually know what we are talking about? Because most times, what we are arguing about is usually very different. We think we are arguing about the same thing, but hardly are we arguing about the same things. And if we are wise, if we look at conflict from the growth need perspective, we would all take conflict a bit less personal and see it as an arrangement
Sorry,
of the
guys.
universe.
Yeah, I think our network is trying to clear. And so, as the question is how to manage your spouses during marital crisis in today's world. Yeah, welcome back again.
Was that my
This is
network?
Ninke Adekunle.
It looks like there's a
I think
technical
the
glitch.
network
Is
is
that my
playing up
network?
somehow.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, first of all, if you have any question that is born mind, please send your question through whichever platform that you are watching from, and to be able to address your questions to you. Thank you. Or you want us to send you a link for you to come and share.
Can you see
Go
me? Can you hear me?
ahead. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I'm wondering if you can hear me.
Hello? Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, though the network is breaking.
Is that network issue from my
Uh,
end?
I'm very sure, yes.
Because I'm trying to see if I need to change network.
Okay, that will be fine. Then what I can do, I can actually end it, then we start afresh. Would that be okay by you while you work on the network?
No, no, no. I've changed it already. Is it okay? Is this okay now? Is it better now? Can you see me better now?
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
This is better.
Okay, that's fine.
Better. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. For those of you watching, I'm sorry for the technical program. And if you have any question, please feel free and send your question. All right, go ahead. This is Nike.
Okay, so I don't know the last thing that you heard, but I was trying to talk about why we have conflicts in the first place. And I think I
Yeah,
was trying to talk about our personality clashes. That usually we have clashes because our personalities are different.
yeah,
Usually we have people that are attracted to each other because they are
yeah,
different in the first place. But after
yeah,
you get married, it becomes more of what was attractive before now begins to attack. That was what I
yeah,
was saying initially. And if you
exactly.
understand the purpose of marriage, you would
Mm,
understand that it is expected, because
mm,
marriage is, because you are in close proximity with your partner, marriage is expected to throw up your faults, to throw
yeah,
up your inadequacies. And the
yeah,
reason for that is because there is a need for you to grow.
mm, mm,
And so if we all can get the right perspective about conflict, it will be
yeah,
easier, because like I said, we are usually not having the same conversation. If you are my husband, for instance, I might be talking to you about the need for you to plan
mm,
better. And you might be
mm.
talking to me about the issue of respect. We are not having the same conversation.
So in
And so
that case, how do you navigate?
you said what?
Yeah, in that instances where both are having opposite needs, how do you, uh, you know, navigate to come to resolutions to better understand each other?
So there is a part of that equation where, um, depending on how you are both able to manage difficult conversations,
Mm,
because um, some people, they are averse to having difficult conversations. They believe that anytime we are having a difficult conversation, it means that we are fighting.
mm, mm,
A conversation can be tough, and yet we will go through to the end of it. But there
mm,
are a lot of couples that cannot do that by themselves, and that is why you may need the intervention of a third party that would help you to hear each other without necessarily losing it. That is why we need professionals to help us sometimes, or people within the family that are neutral and mature and understand marital issues that can help
mm,
mediate between the two of you. Because it gets to a point, if we have been having the same conversations over and over, it feels like I can't hear you anymore. You can't hear me anymore. And, we all have beliefs in our heads that
mm,
that nobody can tell me otherwise. So, for instance, if I have a mindset that like you like arguments, you like fighting, whatever it is that I'm saying, you will not see past it until somebody else can help us mediate and help us to have that
yeah.
conversation. But first thing that we need to do is to, number one, there are things about people that can change, and there are things about people that cannot change. And the moment we understand
Mm,
that, we know how to plan ourselves around the issues. Say, for instance, now, in most homes in Nigeria and maybe other parts of the world, probably we are both serious Christians and we go to church. And everybody knows that women make up in the
yeah.
morning, they want to look their best to church on Sunday.
Mm,
And you are with
yeah.
this woman. You are also a worker in church. You want to get to church for 7 o'clock, even though service starts by 9. The truth is, for the person that does not have anything to do from in church between 7 and 9, it feels like, what are we rushing to go and do? And for you that you have a meeting at 7, 7 is 7. I don't want to be late. So now we have
Mm,
conflicting needs, right? How do we harmonize these needs? There is a wrong belief in most of us that wants us to believe that if we are truly lovers, if we are truly in love, then we must be doing everything together. That's not true. One of the best solutions that we can have in that kind of scenario is either, if we have a driver, the driver must be working on Sunday, so that the driver drops me at 7 and comes back to pick you people. Is fine. Or if we don't have the luxury of having a driver, would you want, I will take Uber to church. You come with the car. Then
mm,
we'll go back home together, so that we don't have two cars in church at the same time. Or if you can afford it, go with your own car. Let her come with the children when she's ready. That way, it is only costing us extra fuel. It is not costing us more than just extra fuel. And we've been able to look for a solution. That is quite better than having arguments every Sunday morning. Every Sunday morning, we are arguing. Haven't you finished? Eh, and she too, she will be angry. You can see that this my pancake. And you can see that this my bread. And you can see that this my this. 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 And you can see that this my this.
Network issue again. Sorry, guys. Okay, while we wait for them to come in, I have another guest, which I think their network is also playing up. As soon as their network is back, I'll be able to welcome them on board. Um, yeah. So again, if you have any question that is ringing in your mind, feel free and send it through from whatever platform that you are watching from. Thank you so much. Any question you have and you want to be answered, send it through from whatever platform that you are watching from. Okay, while we wait for them, and our topic still remain how to manage your spouse during marital crisis in today's world. If you have any question that you want to ask, please feel free and send it through. Yeah, don't don't dodge. He said that for me, it simply depends on the way your partner understand. Okay, she's back, and I'm going to bring her back. Okay, yeah, sorry for the technical issue. I understand it's the network again.
Yeah.
Even yours
Sorry
is better.
about that.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all
I
right.
think the network has a mind of its own this morning.
It happened. Yeah, it happened. So, yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay, yeah, let's progress and move on to a different question. But from the viewers, one person is actually saying that he's saying that for him, it simply depends on the way your partner understands things. Some of us are naturally hot tempers and we get angry over any little things. I remember having a little argument with my wife, and what she said wasn't a good reason for me to get upset, but I felt intimidated because she was winning me and everything she blamed me off. I was actually guilty of it, but my pride couldn't let me accept the fact. So I started keeping money, stop responding whenever she talked to me. Do you have anything to say to
yeah,
the
I think that when it comes to having a conflict, sometimes it is not only about what is happening presently. Some things happen and it becomes triggers to our past. Some of the things that we are trying to forget, some of those things that have happened to us in the past comes to the fore when we are having, arguments with people sometimes. So what
Hmm,
she was talking about might necessarily not have anything to do with intimidating you. So for me, if I'm working with that kind of a person, I want to find out, why do you feel intimidated when somebody is challenging you, even for your own truth? There are deeper things that we are dealing with, you get. And so we may need to unravel that so that it becomes comfortable for you. You know that there is a way that you are doing something that is not even right. Somebody is confronting you with it, and you are still like, even if I fail, I will do it. What is
hmm,
actually behind it? What is that thing? What is it triggering in you? So that we address what the real issues are, and you are not complaining or giving attitude to somebody that does not deserve it. So those are the things that we may need to find out. And if
hmm.
there's any other thing that I want to add is that nobody is supposed to feel entitled to bad behavior. The goal of every human being is to continue to grow. So there are people that, like you said, some of us get easy angrily. I mean, we get easily angered. That is not
Hmm.
supposed to be a title. Every single one of us is supposed to be looking for better ways to improve. So it is not supposed to be my anger. It's supposed to be this anger. And what do I do about it to become a better person? Everybody has a growth need. And for you, that is a growth need, your anger issues. Because not only will it destroy your relationship, but it also has a massive impact on your children.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I have another question. What self-care practice can individual engage in to manage stress and anxiety during a marital crisis?
Okay, so when you're having marital crisis, usually it exposes our mental health to
Definitely.
a lot of quote and unquote damage. And so if you know that the issues that you are having Because I think one of the things about this generation is that every small thing, I'm getting a divorce, I'm leaving this house. No, that's not the best way to handle things. One of the ways that we work with people is that sometimes we help people to become mentally strong, to stay in a space that is not conducive. Just like the example that I gave the other time, that man, what he is doing by providing another car or providing alternatives is to preserve his own mental health, to protect his mental health. So instead of arguing every Sunday, let's pay for fuel instead. You get, so there are alternatives like that. If you are wise, there are alternatives like that that you will have to come up with, because sometimes we also become controlling, that we want the way I want it is the way it must be sold. Sometimes we don't have to do everything together. We give people the opportunity to do things the way they want to do it, so you become less controlling. Sometimes it's about what can I do, what other options are available, how else can we sort this matter, so that I am not constantly being bombarded. So there's a way you can build yourself to be mentally strong, to stay within a toxic environment without allowing that toxicity to enter you. So that is what I would say.
Okay. Yeah, that is fine.
Yeah.
And another question that I would like to ask is, there's this saying that most lady always like, for better, for worse, and for worse to work out. Is it something that you actually believe on? Like, in olden days, there are some family that they believe whatever crisis that is going on between me and you, we have to communicate and resolve it ourselves rather than bringing in third party. So, do you believe a couple uh, taking their marital crisis to third party straight up, or they should try and resolve it within themselves?
Because so this is what I would say. When it comes to marriage, our marriages, it is not a secret cult. So there's nothing that is supposed to be secret about it. It's not a secret cult. We have the freedom to compare notes to other people, to see how we can improve things. If, for instance, you travel out of this country, you go abroad, you see things that you like, you will come home and implement it. And at the same time, you will see things abroad that you will say, God forbid, this thing will never happen in my home. That is the way that we continue to grow. We grow by exposure, knowing the
Mm,
things that, in fact, there are privileges that you currently enjoy that you don't even know is a privilege, until you see, let's say for instance, now when you come back from work, your wife gives you a massage, and you don't even know that it's a thing, until you see another man as he's coming back from work like this, the woman is welcoming him with curses and
mm,
abuses. That's when you know that, my own will collect bag and give me massage, I'm actually enjoying it. Because there
mm,
is a way that you will need to see things in a broad perspective that
mm,
would help you understand better. Sometimes we don't understand the goodness that we have around us. Sometimes we don't. So when we compare notes, we see that. But when we are comparing notes, it is also not just about, especially when it comes to marriage, it is not about picking other people's strengths and using it to come and fight in the house. No, that is also not recommended, because some people, what you are enjoying, you would be short-sighted of that one, and now begin to concentrate on what your partner by nature may not be able to give you.
mm,
And maybe, for instance, now we know that even though it is a stereotype of some sort, that most men don't talk, they don't have as much energy as women, even though I know it's a stereotype, but let's just assume that it is true. Now you
mm,
now come home. Maybe you saw a friend that the husband is gisting with him like a woman. Hey, come, oh, yeah. And you now say, I went to so people's house. So, and if you see the way the husband was gisting with the wife, you just keep quiet everywhere. How do you want him to respond to that kind of thing? He doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. And so there are things that you need to learn to do without. And the last thing that I'll say about that is that there are issues that you have had yesterday that by today you should have grown above. You should not, the issues that we had yesterday, if we learned anything from that issue, next time we should not need a third party to settle the issue that we settled. You understand? There should be a
Yeah.
level of growth that we should have, that should, we should not continue to need help in that particular area. But because we understand that life is seasonal, because we understand that life, there are several phases to life. So at this particular phase, I may need help with this particular thing. But when you learn it at that phase, you may now grow into another phase. You will not need help with that phase again, but there's also a new thing that is happening that you might also need help with. So throughout our lives, we will need other people's intervention, but we should also not use those things to create problems in our homes.
Thank you so much, Nike. And yeah, I've got one more question for you again. What step can couples take to rebuild trust and intimacy? Considering that, some lady will like, this is a wound. Even though I forgive, I I will never forget. So, what are the steps you think couple can take to rebuild trust and intimacy?
Is it after infidelity or some? Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't get
yeah.
that.
No. After whatever, yeah, let me say after infidelity or whatever is the cause of their marital crisis.
Distrust.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that when it comes to building trust after infidelity, that's a completely different subject, and I'm not sure we have enough time to talk about that, because that's you are dealing with the core of people when you talk about, especially for women. If the sin is against a woman, if she's the victim in the case, then it's a lot, because you are dealing with a sense of identity, because most women wrap their identity around their marriage, and so you are dealing with something that is very deep and very, so to be able to build trust for that woman takes a lot, and it might take years, which most men don't understand. So that would be a different conversation entirely. Like I said, we may not have time for that. But rebuilding trust after most conflicts is about ensuring that you do what it takes for the other person to be comfortable. Sometimes we have a timeline in our heads that we think that, okay, I've begged you 2 weeks, all of these things should settle. And if the
Mm,
other person is not agreeable after 2 weeks, it becomes, what else do you want? Maybe I've begged you. No, that is not the way to go about it. Some people, most times, if you are deeply hurt, you need the demonstration to be, you need to be assured with demonstration of whatever it is that you have said you will do over time for the other person to be convinced. Don't forget that the first trust that you have was a gift. You didn't work for it, you didn't earn it. It was a gift. So we just met ourselves, we married, and I believe that you love me. I believe that we will not do any each other harm. And because of that, so you can imagine somebody that you just met now, you all of a sudden there is trust, because that is how God has designed human beings to be. We are trusted, even though people believe that there's still kindness in the world and there's trust in the world. You sit down on a chair, you don't question whether the chair can carry your weight or not. That's a level of trust. So
mm,
people will generally give you trust the first time as a gift. But when you take that gift and you squash it, then it means that the next time that you're going to get trust, it has to be earned. And it will
mm,
take longer than before for it to be earned. So whatever it takes for the other person to forgive is what you continue to do. I see a lot of couples get to that place where they're like, what else do you want? What else do you want? I've said sorry. No, that is
yeah.
adding insults to the injury. So just when the person gets to the place, when the person is showing that, am I sure? Instead of you to be feeling bad, what they're simply asking you is, can I trust again? And it is at that point that you need to do a lot of reassurance by saying, trust me, this thing will not repeat itself. Instead of you to be feeling bad, because most of the time, the person that is trying to trust again will always be asking you that question with their words, with their action, that can I trust again? And if you are the one that is the offender, Your job is always to say, don't worry, you are safe. Don't worry, it won't repeat itself again. And for as long as it takes, you should be willing to do it, even though we would
Okay.
beg the other person to make it shorter. But you should be willing to go. Even if it takes forever, you should be willing to do that.
Okay. Just 1 minute. I've got somebody that is requesting. I think he need a counseling from you. I know you are very busy. We're not going to take much of your time again. We are so privileged to have you for today. I hope you'll be able to come again. But if you can just give us maybe just like 5 more minutes, yeah, we really
That's fine.
appreciate
Let
it.
me give you 5 minutes. That's fine.
Okay, thank you so much. While we wait for the person want to come and seek for your advice, I have my last question for you with what final advice will you give to a couple navigating a marital crisis?
If you're navigating a marital crisis, one of the things that I will say is that most of the time when we get married to the idea of the person that we think is in front of us. We don't necessarily accept them, but we have an idea in our mind that we think that the person fits. And as long as we are not living together in the same house, it feels like that idea, we have gotten the idea of the person that is in our head until we begin to live with the person. By the time we begin to live with the person, all of a sudden we discover that this person is not exactly who I thought they were. And it happens to the best of us. And so at that point, we now begin to sabotage our relationship to ensure that the person conforms to the idea that we have in our head. And that is usually where marital crisis comes from. And for me, I would advise that please, would it be okay for every single one of us to look at our partners closely, to look at them, the person that is right in front of you, not the idea of what you have in mind. This person, this is this person's strength, this is this person's weakness, and how can I work with this person that is standing right in front of me? And that thing that I've just described is acceptance. Can we truly accept the spouses that we have? If we begin to accept our spouses, their good parts, their bad parts, what it does is that it helps them to now evolve into better versions of themselves. Because if we continue to make it about, I want you to become the image of who I want to turn you to the person that I desire, then it is more difficult for people to change. People don't change in the face of criticism. People don't change in the face of condemnation. They change when they are being accepted. And so, would we give our partners the gift of acceptance? Accept them, their shortcomings, their longcomings, and make sure that the person in front of you is well accepted and loved, and the person will blossom before your very eyes.
Thank you so much. It was nice having you, Nikki Adekunle, and we hope we will have you again. And yeah, the couple sent a message that if a couple wants to see me for counseling, how can they get in touch with you?
There's somebody that I'm speaking with. I'll drop my details with the person.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. So we
I
will
think there's
make it
somebody that I've been speaking to back end. I would speak with. Yeah,
okay. Okay, that is
I'll drop
fine.
my details with the person. Yeah.
All right. And for the viewers, if you need help service, just get in touch from wherever platform you are watching it from, and we will make it available to you. You know, yeah. So it's better you speak up. There is no point of keeping it to yourself. Uh, yeah. Thank you so much, Nick Adekunle, and we hope to have you once again in another time.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure being here this morning. Just that I
Yeah.
don't know how good or bad this network was this
Yeah.
morning, but
It was bad, but it get better. So we would like to have you once again.
thank you. All right, take care. Bye bye.
Okay, you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much.
All right, yeah, bye.
All right, okay. Bye for now. And thank you, viewers. And that was so insightful from Nike Adekunle. And if you need have service, just like as we said, remember to send us a message. I will make a contact note to you from wherever platform you are watching from. Thank you for watching, and this brings to the end of today's talk show. Thank you. Bye.